Okay, I'm going to see if this is, where is the chat? I have lost my chat. I should have a chat. Trying to find my chat doc here. Very strange. Okay, I'll look at the phone. If any chat comes up on my phone. I'm gonna look at some I just got done playing for about half an hour, 40 minutes. So I am going to look at some videos here. So give me a second here. I hope the audio is going through. This is kind of a janky setup I've got here. I put it out on my table. Let's see, scene 2. I gotta check all this with my on my phone. Welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. See if the chat's working. Yeah, chat test. All right, this is let's see. I kind of want to turn the audio off on this video here. Let me mute it. Because it'll double, it'll give me like a double audio. And I really don't want that. So let's play. He says, welcome to these matches. Back from California. I'm excited to try out what I've learned. Here's what I'm working on. Attacking my backhand as much as possible. Good forehand form. Twisting my body more. Failed at this more than I thought. Hitting forward more than up. Okay. Follow through on backhands. I mean, I think a lot of that is going to be determined by the situation, but okay, so let's go. It's got a bunch of text on the screen I can't see. Let me see if it's working here. Okay, he's playing a guy named Cody. I don't know it yet, but I'm not readjusting my backhand grip at all. Okay, he hit that shot. That looked like a good shot. That looked like a good shot. I'm not sure why you'd want to focus on your backhand when I'm gonna be you should be trying to play more forehands. I'll be ready to pause. Okay. So it's a close game so far. I don't know if I've ever seen this guy play that he's playing here at his club. When I see something, I'll pause it. I still don't like the setup at the table, and the stability from the ground up is still a problem. Like right there, you don't have your feet aren't under you. this is one thing right here I want to talk about. When you serve, there you go. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, you serve and you missed your forehand. Okay, big deal. Okay, look where you're at on the table. This is a big issue. Look where you naturally go to on the table. There's no way, shape, or form you should be in this position. Let me switch scenes here. Yeah, you should not be in this position. Not purposely. You seem to be resigned to allow yourself to get in this position. It's like a default. It's kind of a default setting because I think you think something like this is the ready position. Let me switch scenes here. Okay. You do your backhand serve, and then you step over here. I got a bunch of crap in the way here. You do your backhand serve, and then you default to go to here. Where I would like to see you. I mean, let me start over. How do you win? How do the majority of players win table tennis points in table tennis? Forehand. They play forehand. I know it's a newer trend to play backhands, but if your backhand's weaker, by your own admission, when you're serving here, why are you going here? I'd like to see you. There's nothing wrong with doing a backhand serve. There's nothing wrong with mixing it up, doing a backhand serve every once in a while. You've got your forehand pendulum serve or reverse pendulum serve. I do not like what you think the ready position is, or maybe you don't think about a ready position. But if you're going to do a forehand serve, or a backhand serve, I mean, I'd much rather see you set up here than go, because this is not where you want to be in table tennis. You don't want to be with your right foot when you're up to the table, or really if you're a right-hander anywhere, you don't want your right foot in here closer to the table than your left foot. You've got nothing. There's no option here. You can't hit you're going to hit a forehand out here. Maybe. That's not a whole lot of table. You're going to have to move over here to hit a backhand. And I've been, any video that I've watched of yours, it just bothers me. Your setup bothers me. I don't mean to be harsh, but your setup bothers me because a lot of times you'll set up here, and I think you're too tense. You're out here, and then I see you go here. You never want to be here. You never want to be here. Play the back. Nothing wrong with playing a backhand here. Why aren't you playing forehands? Just in the few points that I watched, that guy's giving you the table. He's doing nothing to say. He's doing nothing to say, hey, I'm going to put pressure on you. You should be dictating the points with your forehand. Even on the backhand serve, you should be thinking forehand. You should be in the forehand hunting business all day. Anything coming off that line, anything coming off of the table should be attacked with your forehand. If it's weak here, attack it with your forehand. None of this ball's up. Let me get a ball. I'm not worried about your technique that much. It needs build up from the ground up. It needs tweaking from the ground up. But I'm not really concerned with some of the stuff that you talk about in your in your commentary a little bit, where you gotta, you're worried about your wrist and your shoulder. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about your foundation from the ground up and your approach. Anything that's coming off the edge of the table, and if you've got time, it needs to be attacked. Now, it doesn't have to be aggressive. I mean, you don't need to go 100%, but these guys are giving you all the time in the world. And I know you can say, oh, you're just seeing that from the video. I'm telling you, push yourself and hit more forehands. And I don't mean violently, 40%, 50%. If you'll notice, you're winning points when you just get that forehand over. You're not trying to do too much. There's another thing I'm going to be talking about. Let me get back and watch some more of the... I'll be addressing some of this later. Let me get back and watch some more of the video here. Let's see. I really wish I had my main setup out here. Let me switch scenes. See, I see you here all the time in this position. Your feet really aren't under you well, and I just don't see any options. I don't see how you should be up in this position. If I would ever come down there and play, or come over there and play, I should say, you're never going to see me purposely square up to a guy on a table like that. I'm hunting forehands all day. And really, the way you set up at the table, you should be in like I said, you should be in the forehand hunting business. Because what I see in your matches, you win the vast majority of points when you're playing your forehand. And I'm not talking about 100%. I'm talking about doing that slow, steady stroke to get that ball over, because they're not giving, you're trying to generate power from something they're not giving you. Use what they're giving you. Just get that ball over. You're winning the vast majority of those points. Let's go ahead and see that push from your forehand corner. Hey, you win the game. I mean, but see how you automatically did a little two-step over to the center of the table? I'd like to see you use your forehand push predominantly. You got the ball back right there. You played the forehand, you won the point. See, you're up at the table trying to generate something that's just not there. See? I'm going to discuss something else that you really need to work on your strokes. And it's not what you think. Very nice. Do that all day. What you just did there. All day. All day. That's what he's giving you all day long. There's no reason to do anything else. Just that little roll shot. That should have been played with the forehand. Let's go back on that. I know I'm not going to hit it exactly here. That ball that you just hit with your backhand, See, I would have hit that with my forehand too. You're kind of in between there, but you win that point. Right there. Why didn't you take that with your forehand? I know you say you're wanting to work on your backhand. Take that ball with take what your opponent gives you. If that guy's serving weak, that guy is serving very weak. You need to exploit it. Let me go. Oop, I hit the wrong thing. Hold on. I am not used to being on a laptop. I'm used to being on my desktop here. I apologize. Let me go back. Okay. If somebody's serving here, if somebody serves short, all this crap on here. Somebody's serving short over here, you're not going to use your backhand. I would hope you'd not try to use your backhand. You're not going to try to come over here and do this. I got all this crap. This is awkward. You're not going to try. I'm hoping that you would come up and try to push that with your forehand, right? Well, that ball he just served is only about 7 inches. Of course, it's coming a little bit more this way, but that ball's only about maybe 7, 8 inches this way. This is a forehand side, this is a backhand side. No, get that out of your mind. To think that if the ball bounces here, you got to play your backhand, absolutely not. Especially on weak serves like that guy's giving you. That ball's going to come off the end of the table. That serve that he's doing is going to come off the end of the table, or it's going to be close. If it's here, don't do this. If it's here, do what you did earlier. I don't care if it's here. I don't care if it's coming up here. Push it with your forehand. There's no rule that says you have to do this. You're setting up. Push that with your forehand. But you got to get up there. Push it long. Push it long to his backhand. Get up there quick. You don't need to move. Push it to his backhand long. Don't go here. Don't do your little sidestep here. You push long to his backhand. Oh boy, now you're ready. Get right back. You got the whole table now. You can get a little wider. You can get preloaded. Well, what if he hits it over there? I don't care. Hit it over there. I'm going to get there. How hard is it going to be for him if you push it long to his backhand, how is he going to come down the line here? He better have some hell of a footwork. He's going to have to run all the way around his backhand side and hit the ball down the line. He's giving you the advantage, and you're not taking it. You give it right back when you go here. You're giving the table up. Forget about that backhand push. Forget about this stuff. Forehand push. Your forehand push is better anyway. It's a little more aggressive. Get aggressive on your serve returns. Get aggressive. Push it. If he's going to serve some weak ball here, weak little no spin, underspin, that's going to come off the table. If it's really going to come off the table, don't push it. That's all you need to do right here. You don't need to do all this stuff. You're close to the table. That's all you need. You drop your shoulder, You come down, get stable on your leg right here. That's all you need. It's just a little subtle weight shift. You break with your fingers and wrist, and I'll get into that. Yeah, it's not going to take much. You already kind of do it. I'd like to see you try it more, where you're actually generating a little bit more spin on that slow loop. This isn't a loop. That's a top spin drive. This is a loop. You hit the ball, you're hitting the ball below the table or barely, but this is all it is. From here to here, here to here. Now, if it's higher and it doesn't have a lot of underspin on it, now you can come forward more on it and treat it more like topspin. You don't need to lift the ball. Let me grab another ball here. But you are way too passive. You're not aggressive enough when you don't have the ball on your side. This is the way I'd like to see you set up. I'd like to see you with your left foot over this line. When I set up and play, my left foot is 6 inches. When I'm playing a right-hander, my left foot is 6 inches outside of this line when I set up. And I'm not set up like this because you got extra, this is tension. You want to get the tension out of your arm. You don't want to be tense. You don't swing. Why would you set up like this? You don't swing like this. You can't generate any power like this. That's not what generates power in table tennis. This is tense. You don't want that. You want it like a whip. So when you're up at the table, I'd like to see you this way even more. You can always get there. I can't do it, but you can always come in and cut that off. Nobody's serving you. Now, if the guy moves over here and he's going to try to do an old ping pong trick, which I hope they do it. If I'm playing them, please do it. Where they're going to try to serve long out here. Yeah, now you watch your opponent. Yeah, you cheat over a little bit. I'm daring them to go over there. Because I want to play a forehand. I want to create that angle. But if they're serving weak, you can't create angles here. All you can do is hit. There's no angle. You're playing with less table. This is shorter distance than here to here. Measure it. This is a longer table. So, now I'm getting worked up. All right. I'd like to see you there's nothing wrong. Look where I am. There's nothing wrong with pushing to a guy's forehand or a guy's backhand corner. Quit messing with the middle of the table. You don't want to, forget the middle of the table. You should be firing here, and deep wherever your opponent is, deep into his non-racket hand. You want it deep. You're coming in like this. I don't mean to seem harsh. I'm tired of watching it. I'm like, they're giving you the table. But I'd like to see you 1 week absolutely 1 week of playing where when I had the ex-Chinese national team guy, when I was playing, when I was taking lessons off of him, here's what he did. Let me get here's what he told me. Okay, there's your backhand. Anything in this box, if they hit it to you with pace, if they're good enough that they can put pace on the ball and pin me to my backhand here, I'm okay. I'm allowed to hit a backhand. This little area right here. Everything else, I'm forehand. From here to there, I'm hunting forehands. If it's weak here, you're damn right I'm coming over and I'm playing a forehand. And I hit one forehand, guess what? I'm hitting another forehand. If they're going to have to get me off the forehand, and it should be the same with you. I'd like to see you play where you force your opponent to get you off your forehand. Because forehand, and you go into their angle, their backhand corner, and it's a battle of wills. It's physical chess. You tell them, you force them off of your forehand, and you go to the forehand all day long until they say, "Oh wait, I got to get him off that forehand." So, and the way to do that, and it makes the game, it takes the thinking out of the game, where you can actually concentrate on tactics, and it's going to take your brain out of the game a lot. If I know every single shot except to this corner here, strong to the corner, is going to be a forehand. So I'm setting up here. I'm all forehands. Anything coming off, anything short, I'm forehand push. I'm getting ready to hit another forehand. Yeah, I can get over here. You can get over there. If you're keeping the ball there, they're going to have a hell of a time getting here. And none of those guys that I've seen you play, there's one guy that can kind of put some pressure on you, but none of them can really put a lot of pressure on you to knock you out where you're not going to be able to dictate a little bit going forward into the match. I pin them down. Pin them down. What this does, it forces you to get more efficient with your footwork, take shorter steps, get a little bit more efficient with your footwork up at the table, and it's just it's forcing you to play angles, because now you can play the angles. They can't. If you're pinned down here, if you have to hit a backhand, it's not a big deal. My elbow's not going to stray too far away. Some guy blocks it. I got to hit a backhand. They nail it to this corner. Okay, I'm there. And I'm up close enough where they're trying to get pace on the ball. So I don't have to do a lot. I don't have to go like this. I'm just here. And guess what? I'm ready for a forehand. I'm back playing the forehand. If I got to get back and hit another backhand, one forehand, I'm preloaded. I'm ready to go with another one. If they drive you back off the table a little bit, you get a little wider, you get a little bit lower, but you're stable here. So let's watch a little more. I gotta change the scene. Hey, you hit a forehand, you won the point. That should have been a let. See? Yeah, you just love to migrate to the center of the table. Push that ball deep to their backhand. Look, you got all the table now. You've got all the table. That's a ball that should be hit forehand. You've got plenty of time. See, there's another, this net ball that you couldn't recover. See, that ball should have been, here, let me go back. Okay, you win that point. You used your forehand. Why on it? You had all the time in the world to come and hit a forehand. But you ended up, you ended up with you straight up the table. I'd love to see you play a forehand there. That's just a low percentage shot. See, you could have recovered if you would have been thinking forehand push. You could have gotten that net ball. You could have recovered. For some reason, you've got that habit of you're stepping around thinking square up to the table. I don't like when my shoulders are square up at the table. I'm trying to get out of that. I want my shoulders, if I'm doing a forehand wide to their forehand wide, my shoulders are squared up that way. I'm trying to move around the ball with my forehand. Your shoulders should not be square to the table. I know I'm being harsh, and I apologize, but let's go back to the main. When you default here, and I'm going to harp on this, when you default here, how are you going to turn your body when you're here? When they're hitting, when you're gearing up to do this, when you need to be making space, you need to always be thinking about making space for your forehand. Let's cover another thing. You're doing a forehand stroke. That's only half of the equation. Let's say your footwork is, let's say you're all stable here, and you do a forehand stroke, and you do pretty violent weight shift. Well, what's the other part of the equation? You've got to reload. What you do is this. When you're close to the table, you don't do weight shifts like that. If I ever make it out there and I could do a drill with you, I wouldn't be doing a drill where I'm 10 feet back. I get you up to the table and do this for hours. Because this is how you learn the weight shift. This is not the weight shift that you're going to be using all the time. The subtle quick movement weight shift. Taking the ball right off the bounce with a solid contact. Same with the backhand. I'll show the backhand here in a minute. I can't do my forehand. When I warm up forehands, stupid chair. When I warm up forehands, I'm at the diagonal. I'm here, and the guy, whoever I'm warming up with, they're on that long diagonal. You've got more table to work with. It's a safer shot. But we're just up here. The guys I used to practice with all the time, we had like a 4-man team that we traveled around. We're up here with stability. But we're not tense. The arm isn't tense. It should be like a whip. When somebody whips, they don't go like this. Somebody whips, they go like that. It's the same with table tennis. Your arm should not be tense. Relax. The only time you're tense is when you're breaking. You snap and you pinch your fingers. You kind of pinch the racket a little bit and you break, and then you relax and come back. You're not doing the retracting. The breaking and the retracting is just as important as any other part of the shot. The energy, the power focus is right here. This isn't, you don't get the power from this. You get the power, it should feel like a whip coming through. Like when you're looping, this is all relaxed. When you're up at the table, you don't have time to do a big weight shift. It's a subtle weight shift. But you're relaxed. There's no tension here. And you're not lifting this. You're not here. And the same with the backhand. You do your backhand, you go like that. Well, the backhand's here. You cock your wrist back, but you're moving your wrist at the same time your forehand. You're contacting the ball here. And then your forehand, you're rubbing the ball. It's not here and then this. There's no power there. You can't focus your power. Your arm should be relaxed, but there should be tension on your grip a little bit. That's what creates the power. I've got a video of me doing backhands. Let me see if I can't. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. May not be able to find it. Oh, screw it. I'll just do it. I got my robot on. I'll do a few backhands. Let me see if my E-pad's still on. Oh, it is. Okay. I think I've got a drill set up here. Let me put my racket case right there. It should be all right. Let me turn on another camera here. Is that right? I can't see. Oh well. What was I doing? Oh yeah. Step back a little bit. I can work my way back. Nothing changes. My feet are stable. My arm is relaxed. My wrist goes back a little bit, but I'm contacting the ball here. Uh-oh. Oh, the ball got stuck. The only tension is when I whoa chaos. I can do this all day because I'm relaxed. My arm is relaxed. There's no tension in my shoulder. I'm using the ball. I'm not even swinging my racket that much. It's got a little bit more spin on it. I come in and smother it a little more. But I'm here, and then you slowly release your wrist, and then your forearm sends it. And it's not a violent shot. Your wrist is stable, but it's not, you're not tense because you got to come back. And when you reload, when you retract, you're relaxed. Your weight should be on your right. Your weight should just be a little bit on your right foot more than your left if you're right-handed. 55, 45, whatever. Everyone's a little different. I weigh too much right now. That's my big problem. But so I'm not used to. I'm having to readjust my weight shifts. But it's a slight little. You're barely hitting the ball on the left side of your body, like this. But this is where the power doesn't come from out here. The power comes in here with tension. Because you hold that tension and snap here. It's not a violent move, especially if it's a fast ball coming at you. Now those slower, higher balls, that's why I'm saying this is a slow, high, dead spin or light top spin ball that this high. I don't try to hit that with my backhand. I'm going to try to come and hit it with my forehand. If it's a weak ball, use your forehand. There's no reason to I, I'm just using the backhand to, basically return the shot. Now you can get better with the backhand when you can, if you've got a guy that's really good and he's moving around his backhand side and he's loop driving, he's top spinning the ball here, and you want to try to counter some of that, you just step back and it's a little bit more, you just, once again, it's like the forehand. The further back you get, that's when you stay low. That's when you get low. You don't move low. You don't move like this. Somebody said stay low. There's got to be context to that. Stay low. Okay, I'm low. I mean, what does that mean? When you're moving, you can relax. I'm up when I'm moving. I don't move like this. You can't move like that. So get your feet under you. Don't get wide. Don't get wide when you're moving. But with the backhand against topspin, you actually are closing your racket more. And you're actually pushing down a little bit on the ball. It's not this kind of stuff. I see a lot of players go, well, hell, look where your racket's pointed. My racket, when that's awkward, but my racket's here. My wrist is still cocked. But everything's in here, and everything's coiled and released. But you're relaxed. My shoulders are perfectly relaxed. It's not tension. But when you're doing your backhand, but like I said, 90% of those shots that you're doing this, coming in doing this, you should be hitting with your forehand. You should be clearing space. You want to hit your forehand in this little box on the side of your body. Well, you can't do that like this. You've got to get here. You've got to clear space for the shot. And it's like, think of it, you've got a rope in your hand. And it's a subtle weight shift. When you're closer to the table, it's a subtle weight shift. It's a quick, subtle weight shift. You don't have time to do all of this. I see you doing this. You're a foot and a half. You're a foot and a half behind the table, and you're going. Your feet are ending up here. When all you need to do is you're still coming. You're still coming forward. But your feet shouldn't be going like that. It's a lot less stroke than you think. It's a lot less. You're still tense, thinking that you've got to do a big shot to make power, and you don't. It all depends on the ball coming at you. All right, let's get back to the. Boom, boom, boom. Hell, I'm not even in the. We're only on the second game. I'm not going to go through the whole. But I think you don't have to listen. I mean, I'm just doing this because, I watch some of your videos, occasionally through the week I'll watch a couple of your videos, and I just see some of the stuff I was doing a long time. I had a guy step in early. I took lessons early. I've had Dan C. Miller, Sean O'Neill, Dan C. Miller's brother, back in the late '80s. Ching Hua, I've had guys, Indianapolis Club, that some higher rated players that helped me. So I mean, you got to pass it on. Once again, with that shot right there, I'd love to see you hit a forehand. I would love to see you hit a forehand. I'm not sure why you're hitting your backhand to your opponent's forehand. The vast majority of the time, an opponent's forehand is going to be better than their backhand. Now, it may not be as consistent, but it's going to be a stronger shot. I'm not trying to hit my forehand or my backhand to somebody's forehand unless their backhand is so good that they're forcing me to do that. If my backhand is stronger than their backhand, I'll go backhand to backhand with them. If my backhand is better than their forehand, I'll go backhand to forehand with them. If my forehand is better than their forehand, I won't have any problem going forehand to forehand. But I start that equation with my strength against their weakness. Now, I can assume that their backhand is their weakness. So if I can show them that I can run around my backhand corner, if I can hit a forehand from my backhand corner to their backhand corner and they can't do anything about it, guess what? I'm going to do it all day long. They're going to have to do something to me to get me off that. I'll do it all night long. Make these guys make you change. So again, I would hit a forehand there. I'm seeing you win a lot of points with your forehand, but you know one shot I don't see you do is your forehand push. I've seen you do it before. You win way more points on your forehand wing than you do your backhand wing. I'm telling you right now. See, you're. I know that you say you're trying it, but I don't like that approach. Do your best shots until they tell you you can't do your best shots. Yeah, I'd have played a forehand push there. And I'd make it easier on myself by cheating down my backhand corner more. Thinking forehands. I can't emphasize enough. Be in the forehand hunting business. Wow, you won a point again. You won a point again because you went around. Now this guy's got funky spins. I don't mind playing against that stuff. You know why? Because I know I'm going to have time. I know that they're going to give me time. And time is the number one commodity in table tennis. I like that though. You're kind of, what you did there, I'd like to see you do that, but about half of that effort. Yeah, the backhand push is not going to be good against that stuff. If you can pin this guy back to his backhand, look where he's set up at the table. Look where he's set up. I'm going to make his life miserable. I'm putting him over. Nice. Very nice. Oh, you won a point with your forehand. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about this stepping. I'm not sure what you did there with this stepping in. Push it. Get it faster off the bounce and push it. It's got some weird spin on it. Let me replay that. That was like the only point where you were actually forced to play a backhand. Okay, you hit a nice forehand here. I'd still like to see you turned. You're still your lower body's not in sync with your upper body there. I would still like to see you turned more on your backhand corner there. But that's much better. Now, you went back and defaulted right back to off balance, doing backhand off the table, off balance. When I'd like to see, after you did that first shot, get preloaded, come back. After you did that first shot, come back and get preloaded a little bit. Because you got it, you got the safe shot. You did the nice safe shot, and then you went here. And you lost all your momentum. You do your nice turn. When you say turn your waist, well, you don't want to turn your waist if you're not moving your feet. That's bad news. That's not going to work. Your waist turn is relative to where your feet are. My feet are turned. I'm coming in and I'm turning. You might not need to turn as much as I'm doing right here. But now I've turned my waist. Now I've got space. I've got all this space to hit this ball. I'm nice and relaxed and I can. But guess what? You did that nice shot. You did a really nice shot and then you went like this. You don't have time to do that. Nice shot, you're back. Well, what if he hits it and your opponent is straight up the middle of the table? He's got to make a high risk shot to try to get here, because he's coming from the middle of the table. That's not an easy shot to make. You know he's not coming with a lot of topspin. So on your next shot, you're here. Say something happens and he blocks the ball over here and you got to hit a backhand. Oh, well, I'm here. That little square I was talking about earlier, I'm here. Okay, no problem. Guess what? Hit. I'm getting geared up. Now, I'm not talking about back like this. I'm just talking about a little bit preloaded. If I got to move over, no problem. I'm going to hit it here. I'm going to hit it diagonally. Now I'm thinking, well, what's he going to do? He's probably not going to, unless he's got a great forehand topspin drive, he's not going to go back here. He's going to be able, he's going to do a safer shot toward the middle. Okay, I'm ready. I'm preloaded. I'm not tense. I'm relaxed. I'm ready to transition into that backhand again right here. My shoulders aren't squared to the table. My shoulders are squared to his weakness. I'm gonna come right. Now he's got to move here. He's got to move all the way from here to there. You're putting him to the test. Yeah, this straight up the middle has a purpose at times. You use the, the best way to use the middle of the table is an opening shot. He serves. If they serve long, okay, say they serve short. Serve short underspin. And I come in and I push it. Now, let's say that they're ready and they come in and they push. But I'm pushing long to them. I'm not trying to push short. I'm trying to push them. I'm trying to force them to give me a deep ball now. So to go back, I'm returning serve. They serve short to right here, and it's short. I'm not going to come around and do this, and I'm not going to do this because now I'm out of position. I have no options. I got to move. You don't want to be in the center. I got to move here now. I got to move all the way back to open up the table with my forehand. They serve short. I'm going to take it with my forehand. I'm going to try to serve it short. I'm going to try to push it long to their backhand. I'm preloaded. Now, if somehow they push and they have a short kind of weak ball, or he hits it with his long pips, and it's not got pace on it, and it's kind of an in-between long middle kind of shot, I'm still here. Now I can use the center of the table to just kind of do an easy, safe shot to get it back. Now I'm ready to do some damage. Because they got to, say they block it. Say they hit it here. Okay, I've got that covered. I got my backhand covered. I'm trying to limit the amount of space I hit my backhands. I want to use my forehand against the table, against their shots. I'm telling you, that deep push to their backhand, that could be money. Because then you can open up with a safe shot, and now the next one you're looking to do damage. Now the next one you're looking to put a little bit more energy into it. The first one you can just, it's like a get me over shot. You just kind of break with your wrist and fingers. It's more of a finger and wrist shot, but it's a feel. It works against that no spin too. Against that long pip stuff. I give them that stuff all the time. Because they're wanting that heavy pace and spin so they can get some real knuckly stuff coming back at you. They hate when you change speeds. They absolutely hate when you change speed and spin. Long pips players, it drives them nuts. Because when you're playing a long pips guy, what's the issue? Why is he doing that? He's covering up weaknesses. If he's not like aggressively chopping with it, which is very hard to do, he's covering up a weakness. I like knowing my opponent. I used to play with a guy who was really good at the long pips because he would flip his bat. He would flip, and then he could also flat hit. You know, he was about a 1900 player. I played him all the time. I played him weekly at the club, and I got to the point where I liked it when I was wanting him to hit with the pips. I was trying to force it because you can do that little wristy roll shot, but you just got to know how to play against it. But they're giving you, that guy's giving you all the time in the world. Okay. It's starting to get late. I'm going to, let's see. Let me go back to scene here. I'd still like to see you take those balls with your forehand push. Nice. Do that every part of the table. See, you made him move. Now, you didn't forcefully make him move, but you made him move. See, you're serving and going right to the center of the table. I mean, if that's the way you want to play, that's fine. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. Nice. See, you did that little. There's nothing wrong with what you just did there. You'll be once you get confidence with it, you'll be able to make those changes. Start from the ground up. Make changes. You're playing forehands and you're winning every point. See, you were ready to hit another forehand there. You're allowed to do that on your backhand. You're allowed to do that on the backhand side too. You're allowed to step a little bit and play forehands on that backhand angle. There's nothing in the rules that says you can't. I'd like to see you do that more often. You're just going to open up the table way more. You'll be dictating the points way more. Nice. Yeah, get ready. Wow. What was that? That's probably the best, that's one of the best sequences I've ever seen you play. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, my backhand's weak because I got to play the backhand. I don't like your approach. You still practice your backhand, but that doesn't mean you can't use your forehand all the time. I mean, there's world-class players that have amazing backhands, but if you give them forehands, but if their opponent doesn't force them to use it, they won't use it in a match. I guarantee they're going to be Jörg Roskopf from Germany back in the 90s. He had the best backhand in the world, but I'll tell you, he played, if the guy wasn't going to force him off his forehand, he wasn't coming off of it. 9 times out of 10, a forehand's going to beat. Forehand wins. That's his reality. I mean, that's his fact. See, I like that shot you did there. Hold on. Not that. I like this little sequence you did here. I don't like that. You're pinning yourself backhand. Well, where is it? This sequence right here. No, that wasn't the one I'm thinking of. That right there. You know what? Don't lean. Move. I don't have any problem with you doing that. I'm enthused that you did that. Because now you're thinking, look, you're around your backhand side a little bit. You're just not moving because you're so hesitant to do that stuff because you're insecure about it. You want to divert back to your safe, square up to the table. And once you get out of that, it's going to be a different game. Couldn't tell if that hit or not. See, now you're in your head. Now I can tell that you're thinking. You're in your head. You're not reacting. You're just thinking. So that's a good shot. You're tentative. That was a nice little backhand. And you hit it to his backhand corner. So you're not gearing up. You hit that safe forehand, but you're not gearing up to hit another forehand. You're back wanting to square up every time. Beautiful. Did you hit? I can't tell if that hit or not. I don't care. I really don't care. That's one of your best shots. Beautiful. Beautiful. You got to get geared up for the next forehand. You're so concerned with your stroke technique that you're forgetting the most important thing, and that's you have to clear the space to hit the shot. You've got to move around the ball. That was beautiful. I don't like the follow-up. That was beautiful. I would like to see you get geared up for a second forehand. You hit one forehand, hit another forehand, and another forehand. So you're just there in no man's land. That's what I call it. It's pretty good. I still don't like the strategy, but I mean I can never tell if my chat's working or not. See, now I just lost my chat. There it is. Okay. It's not working on my, for some reason OBS didn't open my chat box. You've got a winning record against that guy. Okay, this guy, I've seen this guy before. This guy has more of a straightforward game. I'd love to see you push that with your forehand. I'd tell this guy the same thing I'm telling you. I'd be like, you should be in the forehand hunting business, because he likes to come back to the center. He thinks the center is the ready position. you won the point. I'd much rather see you play forehands there. Yeah, you can't step and hit that shot at the same time. You got to get planted. You got to get your foot. You step in and get. You got to get planted. See, he's got the same. He's got some of the same issues you do. He just wants to revert back. I don't. He's got a backhand setup, and that's fine. But he's reverting. Plays a lot of backhands. Nice. Very nice. You didn't give up the table there. You dictated the point. If that ball is coming off the edge of the table, forehands. It's hard to tell from this angle. I liked what you did there, though. You just weren't. Sometimes that's a hard ball to, but I liked what you did. You didn't automatically go back to square feet to the middle. You were thinking forehand block. I would pick on this guy's forehand all day. I'd pin him to his backhand, and then I'd go wide. He's got a lot of the same issues you have. See, I would love to see you. You did what you should have there. You took a quick backhand. Oh, see, that's nice. Let's rewind that. I'm going to rewind some of this sequence here. Now I know where it's at. Okay, you played a backhand. You're still, look at where your feet are. Your feet and shoulders should be squared up to his backhand corner. You should be up at the table. You should be up at the table. Both feet should be up at the table, more even. Your right foot is way behind your left foot. Well, how can you put weight on your right foot? It might be a 55-45% ratio, like I said earlier. So, and look how high your racket is. you were hitting backhand like this. If you're gonna really want to hit that backhand on that corner against those, that's why I stress using that forehand more. I have not seen you use a forehand push yet, and it saddens me. I've not seen you use a forehand push all night. And I know for a fact, I've seen you use it before, your forehand push is better than your backhand push. Because your backhand push, you do this, when it's really this. You go like this. You can't control anything like that. It's not a slice. It's not a slice shot. It's, you might have to, if the guy's racket angle is like this when he serves, then you parallel his racket angle. But yeah, it's here. It's here. Because you could get, that's all you have to do. This is all you have to do. Foot, you come in, you've got good balance, and this. Forehand. All you do, and I said before, I said a month ago, that's why the movement while your opponent is serving is critical. You can't just sit here and wait for that ball to be over the table. If that ball is already over, if that ball is coming over the net and you haven't moved yet, you're way behind. That's why I stress. You can get down here and watch the angle of the serve, your opponent's serve. One of my practice partners back in the day, he used to do this. He'd get down like this. And you see some of the Chinese team members do this. They get down like they're still nice but they'll get down, but they don't come in like that. They pop up. They're relaxed. They're ready to move. Yeah, it's not like this. You pop up. It's just a simple step in. You move this foot a little you move your left foot a little more forward in. You kind of spring. That the guy I was coaching, every coach I've had has told me take a little hop. Right when they hit the ball, take a little hop. It doesn't have to be violent or anything. Now you're ready to come in. You step, then you push. You can get there with your forehand. All you have to do is this. Forehand push there. But what you're doing is this. You don't have time for that. Or all you have to do, if you're nice and relaxed here, but get there first. It's not as much stroke as you think. You don't have to wind up. It's a straight line. I think one of the Chinese players, I seen one of the Chinese players, a video he was coaching, and he was like, it's kind of like fencing. It's kind of the same kind of footwork they do in fencing, which I don't know anything about, but there's not a lot of wasted movement. This stuff, you're going, well, that ball's going to be on you. You can't generate any kind of force. You're just going to float the ball back doing that. controlled right here. Most table tennis shots are all controlled. If you're swinging your elbow outside of this little radius around then you're going wrong. Especially when you're close to the table. You don't have time for these big movements. You don't have time for this extra movement. But I'd love to see you use your forehand push. I've not seen it one time. Because the forehand push gets you in a better position. Believe it or not, it's going to buy you more time because you're going to be able to force that ball over there. You got the table. Yeah, you can adjust, but you're trying to keep them from hitting over there, away from you. You're trying to limit their angles, and you're trying to create those things that they're trying to take. They're trying to create that, but these guys you're playing, they're not thinking that. They're not thinking that far ahead. You can take advantage of. You can take advantage of a lot of that. But I try 1 week of not doing this. Even though it feels safe. And let yourself go a little bit. Relax. Let it go a little bit. I'm not talking about violent, but let it. If you miss, so what? You know, it's not the end of the world. You'll find yourself, when you have to push yourself to hit more forehands, you start, everything, all the other stuff starts falling into place like dominoes. You'll have to learn to have more efficient footwork. You'll be a little lighter on your feet. It'll force you to do all that. This stuff, you're never going to develop good footwork by doing this stuff. And you're hitting your forehand. You hit that forehand where your weight is, you should be right here, covering it. Think angle. Don't think this, think this. Because what does this lead to? This leads to this. I'm always thinking, how can I get here? How can I get here? Is my opponent giving me time to get there? Well, I'm going to take it. How can I get here to hunt a forehand? How can I, what's the best way? I'm already starting out forehand. Forehand, I'm hunting forehands here. Anything coming off, when I play, anything coming off the edge gets a forehand. Unless there's a net ball or something, I get, some kind of whatever. But my whole thing is just keep it simple. I'm hunting forehands. I'm in the forehand hunting business all day. Forehand here. Like I said, if I have to cover here, that's great. I can cover with my backhand. My backhand's good enough. But I'm not, now the only time I'm going to hit a backhand here to there is I've got him way out of position. That's the only time. Any other time I'm going to try to hit middle to him, trying to get him here or get him wide. And I'm here, but I'm anything weak or slow, I'm not wasting my time with this. I'm coming in to do damage. I'm coming in to start the ball rolling. To start the chain of the forehands. You're going to win a lot more matches if you try to adopt that stuff. This is going to get you, all this does is give your opponent time. There's no danger. If I see a guy doing this, I got no danger. I just can click and go into auto mode because I know I'm going to have plenty of time to gear up forehands against him. So I'm gonna have to cut this here in a few minutes. I gotta get up real early for work. Well, I say real early, 4 o'clock. Let's see. I wanted to jump a little rope before I went to bed too. I wanted to do a little 10-minute jump rope session. So let's go back to scene 2. But there you are, and your feet are just, your racket's up here, your elbow's way up here. I'm trying not to be harsh, but I mean, I'm just trying to, and your feet are out of position to hit a forehand or to hit a backhand. I'd love to see you come all the way around and clear space to hit a forehand there. I mean, you won the point there, but I still would rather have you hit a forehand. Beautiful. You're just too unstable on it. See, he's giving you a dose of serving you to that backhand corner. I'd love to see you push forehands there. Deep to his backhand. What would he do? You're so hesitant. It's almost like it's foreign to you. That guy's got a lot of the same issues you do. I mean, he's not a bad player. Now, this is a hard bat, it looks like. Once again, you're playing an opponent that doesn't move. They don't move their feet. She's not moving her feet at all. I mean, you're having some nice exchanges, but you just love to be squared up to the table. There you go. It's a nice little down the line. It's not a bad. That's not bad at all. I'd like to see you get. I'd like to see you gear up for another shot. Relax and retract. Put the brakes on. Yeah, I would definitely like to see you like doing drills close to the table. Very close to the table, short, solid contact strokes. Your your positioning of your legs You're not going to be able to do the shots you're trying without a better foundation. Nice. Hard bat, playing against hard bat can be tricky. Can be very tricky. Especially if the player can move. A hard bat player with great footwork is very difficult. I'm going to go back for a second here. Okay, a little forehand. Let's see how you follow it up. Nice. You're still tentative of moving your feet up to the table. You're still super tentative. You're not even, you didn't watch your opponent. I'm gonna address that some other time on your serves. See, I mean, right here, you win the point. There's that. Okay, you lose the net shot. Big deal. That right there is one thing I'm talking about. That shot you did. Because you reached and then you ended up like this. If she would have went over there, there's no way you're getting there. All it takes, it doesn't take this. All it takes is this. I grip my racket a little differently. You'll see players grip. I see that you're gripping more, and that's good. Your grip's fine. I like to move my racket a little bit. I like to choke down on it just a little bit, where my finger's not quite like this. I'm not quite in the webbing of my thumb. I'm more up here, where my fingers, instead of having my fingers completely on the handle, what I'll do is I come down like this more, where I have that feeling of my thumb. I have more of that feeling of pinching of my thumb. Now some players do this, but it helps a little bit with the control, which I'm still trying to find after 26 years of not playing. especially my forehand side. Forehand side is still a work. I'm still trying to get back to getting that sweet spot. This is a new racket 2 weeks ago too. I stopped playing with the one that I originally bought, but not this. You're letting the racket. You're moving your body around the racket. All it takes on that shot is this. Relax. Yeah, you're relaxed. You whip that, break, come back. You're not back here, but now you're ready for another shot. Got to cover backhand. Okay, no problem. I'm back. I'm ready. Break it. Break the racket with your fingers and wrist. It should whip through. It should lag behind and whip through. It doesn't take a whole lot. And then you're relaxed. Your weight's back on that right foot, that right leg, and it's stable. Doesn't take that at the table. You're not getting any kind of focused energy on the ball. That's where this right here, from here to here is where you get your, it's a whip. It's not this. There's no energy there. You could have hit that ball like this. Now you're back ready. You're what I call preloaded a little bit. You're looking for another forehand. Another forehand. I'm not squaring. I'm not taking those extra steps to square up and then have to go through all that again. You're preloaded. You're preloaded. That was a beautiful backhand. I still want, let's rewind. I'd still like to see you hit a forehand there, but I mean, really not too bad. That's probably the best backhand I've seen you hit. Nice. Now that, I can't tell what really happened there. If you were only moving, if you were only clearing space. Nice. Much better. But look at your feet. If you were actually moving your body around the ball, wow. The damage you could do there with those strokes. You don't need that big long stroke. If you move your body around the ball, you don't need the big long stroke like that. Because the power's not... You had a nice sequence there. The power's not out here. The power's in here. Coming from the ground. You should be pushing down on the ground when you're doing your shot. When you're loading your shot, there should be no tension here. There's no tension here. You're stable. You don't want your racket moving around, but you're stable. But your arm is not tense. Your weight is loading on that leg. You should be pushing off, and your legs, then your waist comes, your arm will come naturally. Your arm will come naturally. It's not, you don't have to engage your shoulder and lift all this. Yeah, I took some lessons I took lessons off Danny Seamiller. You said that you went to South Bend and played. Yeah, back in the late 80s, I played with Danny Seamiller. Randy Seamiller, Sean O'Neill. I got lessons. Sean O'Neill came to Indianapolis. They all was like, relax right here. If you ever see Sean O'Neill play, he's all forehand, baby. That's who I tried to emulate when I first started playing. He's all forehand, but all that is here. Not out. It's not here. He doesn't. So if you can start chaining it, but the key is you've got to get your feet in position where you're making space. Where you're making space to hit that ball. Now, when you're closer to the table and you're hitting the ball on the way up, if it's a weaker ball, yeah, you can hit the ball a little. You still shouldn't be hitting the ball out here. You should be hitting the ball. And if it's a ball that's got spin, you let it drop a little bit. You let that ball come down a little bit. But what you do is you get just a little wider, and this drops. Your shoulder drops because your leg. I don't have a good camera view here, but your shoulder drops because your leg. Somebody was saying, pick up the bottle. It depends on the shot. If I'm against topspin, I mean heavy topspin, and I'm way back, yeah. But you don't have to go that extreme. But I see the analogy. I see what you're saying. But you don't pick up a bottle like this. You pick up a bottle like this. I'm more concerned about your technique when you break and retract. Because your focus power is when you hit the ball here. It's not out here. You're against like a short underspin where you're just trying to kind of get the ball over like a loop. That's what I call a loop against underspin, where it's slower shot. Everything else is like a topspin drive. But I don't care. When I'm looping underspin, like if I'm trying to loop somebody's serve and they're serving off the end of the table, that's all I'm doing right here. I'm pinching the racket right at contact, and it's kind of like the backhand. You don't do this, but it's kind of all through the shot. Your wrist gets engaged and your fingers pinch right at contact. I'm still trying to get that feeling back. I've been practicing against the unders. I just started practicing against short underspin again, so I got a couple months of that. But you took a game. Nice. not too well. Yeah, you're. One last thing I'll say before I have to. Oops. Just watching some of those points. I'm going to turn off my robot real quick. Or I'll forget. I'll go to bed with that stupid thing on. Yeah, you're doing the leaning stuff. You're going to hit a backhand if you're here. Yeah. You got to get your base under you. Can't hit backhands like this. There'll be no quality in those shots. You're here. Now you can direct where you want the ball. Wow. One last thing before I go to bed. When you're serving, take your time. Take your time when you're serving. I notice you not looking at your opponent. You can just kind of grab the ball and you're in auto mode. Take your time when you serve. Take your time a little bit. Watch your opponent. See where they're setting up. Kind of watch your opponent. Don't just grab the ball and the serve is part of the serve is your first stroke. I mean, the serve is important. I'll see. Maybe you can catch them. Maybe you can get a visual cue from them. Take your time. Watch your opponent. Think. Why am I? Every serve should have a reason why you're serving that. Why am I serving here? If there's a spot, if there's a serve where the guy can't return it, keep doing it. But kind of watch their tendencies. You might see a guy cheat a little bit. Yeah, when I'm playing, I'm like, but I noticed on that one, you weren't even watching her. You're wrapped up into what you're doing. You can kind of watch what they're doing. You know, mix the top spin up with the underspin a little bit, and practice your forehand serves. Practice your forehand serve because it's a weight shift, and when you serve like this, you got no momentum. When you're serving here and you get the weight shift, now you're ready. You're in the forehand, like I said, you're in the position to hunt forehands. Right here. Now this isn't bad. I mean, to mix up, kind of do a little mix up, but you know, you can serve here and then push a forehand. But a couple things, man. Use that forehand push. There's no reason not to. To me, a forehand push is a superior shot because it gets you in better position. It gets you thinking the right. It's just a more forceful shot. Boom. Or not. I mean, you know. But that's just my 2 cents on it. So anyway, I'm gonna close up and go to bed. I might live stream some playing against the robot later in the week, or I might maybe finish the second half of that video. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I got to get ready for bed. So I will see ya.